Whenever you hear people talk about these types of credit cards and how to best redeem your points for travel, we pretty much always say the same thing: transfer partners. So if you've ever wondered what are transfer partners, how do I use them, and why does everybody say they're so great, this video will answer all of those questions and a whole lot more. So get ready for the most epic credit card transfer partner tutorial of all time. Here is the agenda. First, we'll talk about what are transfer partners to begin with. Then we'll discuss which rewards programs have transfer partners, followed by which credit cards earn transferable points. Fourth, I'll walk you through the steps to make these transfers happen with the 4 major programs. And finally, we'll wrap things up with 13 things to know. Your credit card rewards journey is about to become a whole lot more rewarding starting now. So first of all, what are transfer partners? Well, they are companies that partner with banks to allow you to transfer, that is, convert points from one program to another. This allows you to massively diversify your rewards and hedge against devaluations. That's because one currency that you're earning can be equal to like 10 or more currencies. Therefore, this gives you more options, greater flexibility, and potential for higher value. So for example, let's say you've got some Chase Ultimate Rewards points. You can then transfer or convert those into ANA miles, Singapore Airlines KrisFlyer miles, World of Hyatt hotel points, and a bunch of others as well. So now the question becomes, which rewards programs have transfer partners? Fortunately, there are quite a few of them. We've got American Express Membership Awards points, Chase Ultimate Rewards points, Citi Thank You points, Capital One Venture or Spark Miles, and Built Rewards points. Also note there at the bottom that some hotel programs also have transfer partners like Marriott, Hilton, IHG, Hyatt, etc. However, a lot of those do not give you great value, so we will not be focusing on those in this video. So having looked at the rewards programs themselves, the next question then of course becomes which credit cards earn these transferable points. Under American Express, we have the Centurion card, Platinum, Gold, and Green cards, the Everyday card, and the Everyday Preferred card, and the Blue Business Plus. And do also note that the business or corporate versions of some of these cards also earn membership awards points. Moving over to the Chase side, we have the Chase Freedom Unlimited, Freedom Flex, and Freedom Student, the Sapphire Preferred and Sapphire Reserve, and the Ink Business Unlimited, Ink Business Cash, and Ink Business Preferred. For these cards, note there at the bottom that only the ones in bold blue font provide access to transfer partners on their own. All others must be paired with these cards. With Citibank, we have the Rewards Plus, Double Cash, Custom Cash, and the Premier and Prestige. Within Citi's ecosystem, only the cards listed in bold blue font provide access to the full list of transfer partners. All of the other ones have restricted access and must be paired with these cards for full access. Next, with Capital One, we have the Venture One, Venture, and Venture X cards, and the Spark 1.5X, Spark 2X, and Spark Travel Elite cards. And finally, within the Built Rewards Alliance, we have the Built World Elite MasterCard. All right, now let's move into the actual steps to use transfer partners, and I'll break this section down into 5 sub-steps. Number 1 is to create a free account with the partner program first, and then get your member ID. Number 2, log into your bank account and then go to the rewards portal. Number 3, choose the transfer partner redemption option, and different banks and programs will call this different things. So with Chase, they call it Transfer to Travel Partners, Amex calls this Transfer Points, Citi calls it Points Transfer, and Capital One calls it Convert Rewards. Step 4 is to select the airline or hotel program that you want to transfer to, then enter your member ID with that program and the number of points you want to transfer. And finally, with step 5, you want to confirm and submit. So what we're going to do next is I'll briefly walk you through where to find the transfer partner option and then how to use it really quickly with each of the major bank programs, starting with American Express. When you log on to your Amex account, you'll first want to select a card that earns membership rewards points. So you can see there at the top right of my screen, I've selected my Platinum card. Then you can go to one of 2 places, either at the top there where it says Rewards and Benefits, or over with a navy blue button that says Explore Rewards. Either one will take you to the same place. On that next page, you want to scroll down a little bit until you see the main options to redeem your points there at the top. One of the options will say Transfer Points, so click on that, and then at the bottom you'll see View All to show all the partners. After you get to that page, you'll find the partner that you want to transfer to. So for this example, I'll choose the JetBlue TrueBlue program and select it, after which it will then prompt you to enter your partner account number, that is your JetBlue loyalty number. So type that in there, select your name, and then the Continue button there at the bottom, and then you'll see this page next. You'll want to go grab your card, flip it over, and enter the 3-digit CSC code there in the text field. field and then click on continue. And then you'll see a notification saying that your Amex account has been successfully linked to your JetBlue account. All of that was a one-time setup, by the way. You will not have to do that every time you transfer. So once that's done, you can then click on get started. From this point going forward, it simply guides you through the rest of the process. So you can type in or use the slider to indicate how many points you want to transfer and then how many that will become in the other side. So 50,000 Amex points will become 40,000 TrueBlue points. It then tells you about the fees involved. We'll talk about those later, by the way, but for now, just be aware of them. And then finally, you'll select your TrueBlue account and then click on Review Transfer. You then have an opportunity to verify that everything looks correct and then submit your transfer. So having gone through that entire process with American Express, all the others follow a very similar pattern, but of course, they're located in different areas and called different things. So we'll go through these next few very quickly just to orient you around them, starting with Chase. First, log into your Chase account and choose one of your credit cards that has access to transfer partners. So for this example, I'm using the Sapphire Preferred. You'll notice your account balance with the amount of points that you have with a little text link that says redeem next to it. Click on redeem, and then for some reason Chase has you select it once more on this page. So once again, I'll choose my Chase Sapphire Preferred card. You're then brought to the Ultimate Rewards portal. At the top left of your screen, you can either choose the 3 parallel line option for the menu or the small white arrow menu. Either one works just fine. Click there to expand the menu options and select Transfer to Travel Partners. You'll then see a scrollable list of all the different partners. I'll choose British Airways Executive Club for this example and select the Transfer Points button. You'll then select the recipient, which will be you or an authorized user living in your household, and then type in the member ID for that partner program to link the accounts. Also specify on the next page how many points you want to transfer over, then click on continue, and finally verify and confirm that everything is correct, and then confirm and submit. On to Citibank, and they for some reason love to hide their points feature. Upon logging into your account, select the card you want to use. So I've chosen my Citi Double Cash card here, and then over in the bottom right hand side, you'll see an option that says view/redeem for your points. Click on that link. On the following page, you'll then select your corresponding Citi Thank You Rewards account associated with that card. So again, for me, since I'm using the Citi Double Cash, I'm going to select that rewards account right there. And finally, you get dropped into the Thank You Rewards portal. At the menu on the top, select Travel and then Points Transfer underneath that. You'll then see a list of all the partners you have access to with that specific card. So for me, I've got 4 here with the Citi Double Cash. I'll choose Wyndham Rewards for this example and click on the Continue button in blue. You'll then specify how many Citi Thank You points you want to transfer over and type in your Wyndham Rewards account number to link your account to Citi. You'll then be given the opportunity to verify that everything looks good to go, and if so, click on Transfer Now and it's a done deal. Finally, let's cover Capital One. So log into your Capital One account and choose the card that gives you access to transfer partners. So I'll choose the Venture X for this example and tap on that blue tile. On the card information page that follows, click on View Rewards. After which, you'll then be presented with a bunch of different redemption options, and the one you're looking for is called Convert Rewards. Find it and click there. Once you see the scrollable page of all the different partners, choose the one that you want to transfer to. So I'll choose Accor Live Limitless for this example and tap on Transfer Miles. You'll then see a little pop-up menu asking you for your member number in that program, so type it in and click on Next. And finally, enter the number of rewards you want to transfer over and complete your transfer. And we've made it to the 5th and final section of this video, which is called Things to Know. And this is arguably the most important section of this entire video, and we're going to break it down into 13 things that you must know in order to have success with transfer partners. The first thing to know is that transfer partners only work in one direction. That is from bank points to transfer partners. As an example, you can transfer Chase UR points over to Singapore KrisFlyer miles, but you cannot transfer Marriott Bonvoy points into Chase UR points. Number 2, restrictions or limits may exist. For example, there might be a minimum transfer of 1,000 points, there might be a maximum transfer of roughly 1 million, and you might also have to do so in increments, for example, 1,000 point chunks. Number 3, which you saw an example of earlier, is that Amex charges an excise tax offset fee when transferring only to US airlines. So this fee is equal to 0.0006 cents per point, up to a maximum fee of $99. And you can pay this via cash or Amex points if you have enough and have the option to do so. Number 4, transfer ratios may vary by program and partner. For instance, taking these 3 from American Express's program, JetBlue currently has a 250 to 200 ratio, meaning if you started with 50,000 Amex points, you would get 40,000 JetBlue points. With Delta, that's a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you start with 50,000 points, you'll end up with 50,000 miles. And then with Marriott's 1-to-2 ratio, if you have 50,000 Amex points, you'll end up with 100,000 Marriott points. And at first glance, I realized that it might look like Marriott is the best partner here of those three because you get way more points, but as you're about to see, that's not necessarily the case. Here's the thing about transfer ratios. They only tell you how many points you start with and how many you end up with. They have little to do with how much value you get. This is because points and miles have very different values from one program to another. Additionally, you're transferring from bank points, which have fixed values for certain redemption types, to airline miles or hotel points, which have variable values. Now, to get a better grasp on that, let's first talk about how to calculate the value you get per point. And it's a very simple formula. What you want to do is take the cash price of the flight or the hotel stay and subtract any taxes or fees that you might have to pay out of pocket, then divide it by the points price. Take that result, multiply it by 100, and then you have your value per point, which we express in terms of cents per point. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're taking a flight and that flight costs $396.50 cash, or if you're doing an award flight, 20,000 points or 20,000 miles. Take the $396.50, divide it by that 20K points, multiply it by 100, and you get 1.98 cents per point or cents per mile. That brings us to the seventh thing to know, which is how to determine if a redemption is good. To do that, first calculate your point value for a redemption using the formula that we just went over. Then look up the average point value for that particular program. Some great sources are the Points Guy, 1 Mile at a Time, View from the Wing, Upgraded Points, Frequent Miler, and a bunch of others. These are all travel-focused blogs that show you how to use credit cards, points, and miles to travel the world basically at minimal cost, and they all have their own point valuations. Finally, you want to compare the two. That is the value you got for your potential redemption versus the average value. So if your value is better than the average, that's a good redemption. If it's equal to the average, then that's an average redemption. And if it's worse than the average, that would be a bad redemption, which means you might want to consider paying cash for that trip and then saving your points for a different trip. And of course, there may be some subjectivity involved as well. For example, even if it's not a great value on paper mathematically, you might still want to use your points for a bad redemption anyway, simply to not pay cash. I briefly pause this video as we embark upon thing to know number 8, which might be the most important question that I answer in the entire video, so pay very close attention here. How do you determine if you should use transfer partners? Well, let me walk you through the approach. To begin, you'll want to search for a specific flight or hotel in at least 2 different ways. First is using transfer partners. As an example, how many miles does United Airlines charge for flight ABC? And then search again directly via the bank portal. For example, how many points does Chase charge for the same flight ABC via the Ultimate Rewards portal? Then naturally, you'll want to choose the option that results in the fewest number of points being used. Let's take a look at an example here with the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. Say we're looking at flight number 1. The cash price is $575. On United.com's website, they charge 40,000 United miles for that flight. And doing the math via the formula we saw earlier, that would give 1.44 cents per mile. But the Chase portal shows the same flight for 46,000 UR points, which is a value of 1.25 cents per point. And that's to be expected because Chase points are always worth a fixed 1.25 cents per point for all travel redemptions via the Sapphire Preferred, including flights. So what's the result? Well, you decide to transfer 40,000 Chase points to United and then book on United.com using United miles. And why would you do that? Well, because you much rather redeem 40K points instead of 46K points. Let's take a look at another example with Flight 2. The cash price this time around is $1,297. On United.com, they would charge you 145,000 United miles to book the flight, which would be a value of 0.9 cents per mile. When viewing this same flight on the Chase portal, you'd only have to redeem 104,000 UR points at the same fixed value of 1.25 cents per point that we saw earlier. So the result this time is that you would want to book directly via the Chase portal, that is paying with points, because that one results in fewer points being used. And that's also an example of how transfer partners may not always be the best answer for the highest value. On to number 9. Do your research, that is, plan your itinerary before transferring points. And here are the steps to follow to make that research happen. Find out which airlines fly the route or routes you want to take. Find out which hotels are located where you want to stay. Research the prices in cash. Research the prices in points or miles. Calculate the point redemption values for all those flights and hotels. look up the average point values for each program, compare your potential redemption values to those averages, and then book the best value redemptions that you can. Remember, your goal is to use the fewest points possible by getting the highest value per point possible so you can have more points left over for future trips. Screenshot this, memorize this, or write it down somewhere because this is what the transfer partner maximization game is all about. Number 10, and because of all the stuff that we just covered, do not transfer points speculatively or just because you usually fly with airline XYZ. This is due to the fact that your usual airline of XYZ may or may not yield good value for the itinerary that you want in that moment in time. Also be aware that transfers are not reversible, so you don't want to make a transfer and then later realize you wish you had done something different. Now for all of you out there who want to take your transfer partner game to the next level, number 11 is for you. If you want to get good at maximizing your points and have access to more itinerary options, you must learn the airline alliances. Airline alliances are simply partnerships that allow airlines to share resources, routes, for example, code-share flights, rewards, elite status, and more. This means you can use miles from airline A to fly on airline B if they're in the same alliance. Now, real briefly, here are the three main alliances: oneworld with American Airlines and many others, the Star Alliance with United Airlines and many others, and the SkyTeam Alliance with Delta Airlines and many others. All of these alliances have their own websites, so you can browse them at your own leisure, but really quickly here's a view of the Oneworld Alliance as of August 2022. Feel free to pause this part of the video if you want to look at it in more detail. Then we've got the Star Alliance, which is currently the biggest by far. Again, feel free to pause this if you want to look over all the carriers. And finally, the SkyTeam Alliance. Once more, feel free to pause this if you want to look them over. Let's take a look at an example now of using airline alliances with transfer partners. Imagine you just got approved for the Amex Platinum card with a big welcome offer, and you're sitting on a bunch of Amex points. You also really want to fly to Hawaii, so after a bunch of research, you realize that you can transfer your Amex points over to British Airways Avios. That is part of the One World Alliance. However, British Airways does not fly to Hawaii where you want them to, so you then take your British Airways miles and then use them to book a flight on Alaska, also part of the One World Alliance, or maybe even American Airlines, again, part of the same One World Alliance, from the West Coast to Hawaii. And this also may be one of the best domestic redemptions possible with airline transfer partners and alliances. It also does a great job of showing the three different layers you go through, starting with Amex points over to miles in one program, and then using them to book a flight on a completely different carrier. And for everyone who wants to take it even one step further, number 12 is also for you. If you want to get good at maximizing your points and have access to more itinerary options, you should be aware of airline partnerships. For example, as of the filming of this video, Virgin Atlantic does not participate in an airline alliance, but it has direct partnerships with 10 other airlines. To illustrate this example further, let's again say that we start with Amex points. You can then transfer them over to Virgin Atlantic because that is a transfer partner of Amex, even though it does not participate in an alliance. From there, you can then book a flight on ANA, which has a direct partnership with Virgin Atlantic to fly from the US to Japan. And that brings us to our 13th and final thing to know. You must be flexible with your travel schedule when using transfer partners. The reasons for this are as follows. You'll need to search for award availability. Certain routes may be seasonal. Alliances and partnerships may change. Award pricing may change, and routes and code shares may change. So rather than saying I have to go on vacation from June 12th to June 18th, you might instead want to do your planning ahead of time, and then you might even realize, oh, there wasn't even any availability during that time. August would have been much better. And with all of that said, if you enjoyed today's video and believe it could benefit other people, then please help me get it in front of them by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on those notifications. Also, check out the links down below in the description area to earn some more cash back when you shop online through Rakuten, to get $25 when you open a new SOFI checking and savings account and deposit just $25 or more, and to view my all-new site with some great credit card offers that I've organized into different categories to help you find the cards that you like best. There's also a bunch of other cool stuff down below in the description, so be sure to check it all out. Meanwhile, I thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope it brought you some great value, especially understanding how to get more value for the credit card rewards that you're earning. I look forward to seeing you all in future videos, and while you're waiting on my next upload, always remember that you are great.